Sheriff, we got a lot to talk about.
I am not an animal!
Dad, I'm thirsty. I want a beer. What about you? You want a beer?
The ice is gonna break! I am not a human being! I am an animal!
And I'm sorry you can't do this. I really am, because I wouldn't have to fucking sit here and watch you fumble around and fuck it up.
I am Shiva, the god of death.
Shut up and sit down, you big bald fuck.
You gonna eat your cornbread?
But for me, it was Tuesday.
And you have meddled with the primal forces of nature. And you will atone.
Кто сказал, что надо бросить песни на войне? После боя сердце просит музыки вдвойне. От винта.
This is the 343 podcast. My name is Sergeant Samuel Holler. I'm joined by my two comrades today, Jackson Workman.
Greetings, comrade.
Greetings.
It is an honor to host this podcast with you.
Da.
And Matthew George Patterson.
Da.
I am your host this week. Things this week are all over the place. And that's the way it should be anytime I host this episode. We got our classics, or old-ish.
It's a classic.
We got our newish. Yeah, I'd say it's a classic already. We got our newish.
It's over 50 years old, so it's classic.
Classic. And we got our middle grounds. And with each of these films, we find ourselves together. A bond like no other. Friendship, camaraderie, and a duty to serve your nation. And with those, I must send us on our way. On our mission, our plane must take off. And with that, do you accept y'all's mission? Now that you've accepted your mission, whether you understood it or fully heard it or not, this mission shall self-destruct in 5, 4, 3, 4, 3, motherfuckers, because we are back, and we are coming in strong. Dun, 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 dun. Take it away, Jackson, because I know you had a lot to say about this movie before we ended up discovering that it was going to be on this podcast, and now this is your opportunity to spill the secrets of the IMF.
Here's the thing. This mission, talking about this film, one could call it impossible, but it is a mission that I'm up to. But in order to do this, I'm glad I have you, my IMF team, to help me out. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to make sure.
Oh shit!
Oh shit!
Oh my god!
Oh my god! What is going on? Yo, Jackson's meat beat him.
I'm sorry. I was trying to drop in on a wire, but the stunt went horribly wrong, and now my legs are broken.
That's
Oh
a
my God.
throwback to the very first episode of this cast with Ryan Gosling's wire snapping.
Oh my God, that is a throwback. If ever we had one. Just like him, my back is broken, and I'm going to be replaced by Aaron Taylor Johnson on this podcast. Oh my God. Well, yes, if you can, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to, if you choose to picture this, then the message will self-destruct in 5 seconds. That was good, Sam. That was very good. Yes, Mission Impossible 3, the third installment in the Mission Impossible series, which you wouldn't guess given the title. In this entry, we have, once again, as in the first two, Mr. Ethan Hunt, IMF agent Ethan Hunt, played by the Scientology spokesperson himself, Tom Cruise, who is here to once again pull off an impossible mission. But who's trying to this mission, honestly, who's trying to thwart him? Well, once I tell you, you'll realize why this is the most impossible mission yet. It's the late great Philip Seymour Hoffman, ladies and gentlemen. Rest in motherfucking peace to the GOAT. That's who he's trying to take down. And so already you see why it's such an impossible mission, because he wants Philip Seymour Hoffman. He is an arms dealer, and he wants a weapon called the Rabbit's Foot, which we never really find out what the fuck it does. As per usual J.J. Abrams tradition, he likes to preserve mystery about a lot of the plot elements. But yeah, so we don't find out what it does, but it's a bad, bad weapon that's going to cause a lot of havoc if Philip Seymour Hoffman gets his hands on it. And so Ethan and his good pal Luther, played by, again, the motherfucking GOAT, Ving Rhames, shout out to the GOAT, and his other team members, who has the meats, by the way. We cannot forget to mention that.
Everybody has the meats.
Yes, Ethan's team has the meats, that's for sure. But yes, the other team members, they got to stop Mr. Hoffman from getting the Rabbit's Foot. And
one scary fucker, I'll say that.
You better believe it. And in the meantime,
we'll get into it. I'll get into it.
In the meantime, Ethan gets married in this one. To who? Well, let me just put it this way. If things don't work out with Jennifer Aniston, Michelle Monaghan, give me a fucking call. That's all I got to say. Yeah, he's married to Michelle Monaghan in this one. And the problem is that Mr. Hoffman decides to kidnap her. And so he's got a limited amount of time to get her back before she is killed. And he's got to grapple with whether it's a good idea for someone in his line of work to get married. And all kinds of stuff. We got in this one, in addition to Tom Cruise and Ving Rhames coming back, as I said, we got Philip Seymour Hoffman. We got Michelle Monaghan. We got Jonathan Rhys-Meyers. We got Maggie Q. Last week, we had Larry Fishburne, but this week we have Lawrence Fishburne in the building as the IMF director. We got Billy Crudup. We got Simon Pegg in his first of many appearances in this series, and Kerry Russell as well.
What fucking reason?
Say what?
Said for what fucking reason? I like Kerry Russell.
Because it's a J.J. Abrams production, of course.
Why?
because J.J. Abrams directed it. That's why.
I guess.
She's in every single thing that he makes. So, yeah. Which also brings me to a little cameo from Greg Grunberg at the beginning of the movie, who also has to be in everything.
Oh, there's another cameo you have.
And Aaron Paul, Jesse Pinkman himself, who is a fucking idiot in this movie and gives Michelle Monaghan up unintentionally.
Well, he just walked onto set.
I can just hear Walt yelling at him, "Jesse, you fucking idiot! You gave her away! This is why you never think!"
This is what happened to Jesse before.
This is what made him turn to drugs, his sister getting kidnapped. But yes, it's
Ethan, bitch.
Say what?
It's like yo, Ethan, bitch.
Yo, Ethan, magnets, bitch. But yes, that's the basic gist of it.
Got a chip in your head, bitch.
Oh,
yo, commentary track Mission Impossible 3 4K. Aaron Paul narrates it as Jesse.
I'd watch the shit out of it. I would watch the shit out of it.
And then
yes, as I mentioned, this one is written and directed by co-written and directed by Mr. J.J. Abrams in his
Directorial debut.
feature directorial debut.
Crazy,
And
crazy feature. Like, that's a lot of pressure right there.
yeah, but it makes like because I was thinking about it, and I'm like, it makes sense that this is his first movie because at this time he was just the hottest thing like out there with Lost and just all the other Alias, and he was
Yeah,
just one of the hottest names in town, and so it makes sense that they would just be like, we need a new Mission Impossible director. Oh, he's a hot guy right
but
now. Let's get it.
why did it take Brad Bird to cast Josh Holloway though?
Because JJ has produced most of the others after this. So I assume that's why Josh Holloway was in the fourth one, which I don't remember. I'm going to watch that one again tonight, and I don't remember him being in that.
Okay, so you saw my tweet or my
Yeah.
letterbox thing. Yes, that fucked me up when I saw him because I just started watching Duster.
How is that, by the way?
That is.
So it's a new HBO show with Josh Holloway. It's like a 70s.
It's JJ Abrams' first show in like a long time.
Yep, it's a
I've been seeing ads for it everywhere.
Keith David's in it. He's really good.
Yeah, I saw him in one of the trailers. Yeah.
Honestly, I've only seen the first episode and it drops every week. I wasn't sure at the beginning. At the end of it, I said I'll at least tune in for two. Like, I'm not convinced. I'm not saying it's the greatest show ever. It's interesting. It's different. It's very.
I'm just glad JJ is coming back to TV. I've been.
Well, he didn't direct
about
it,
that, but he created it.
Yeah, he did create it, and it's very interesting. So, like, I will give it that. Also,
yeah, I've been curious about it. I just haven't heard really anything about whether it's good or not. But and also, I want to mention that what
made me want to watch Lost because, like, honestly, I recognized Josh Holloway and I knew his name, but I was like, oh shit, I kind of like him as an actor. And then I watched 4 the other night, and I went, what the fuck? Like, why is he?
I also want to mention co-written by Mr. Alex Kurtzman and the late Mr. Roberto Orci. Just want to pay my respects to him real fast. I don't care who you are. If you're our age, you grew up with at least one, if not several movies that the two of them wrote, whether it was Transformers or Star Trek or, this or whatever it may have been. Those guys were very hit or miss writers for sure. Not everybody
Legend
loved
of Zorro too. Don't forget that.
Yes.
They wrote the Zorro movies? I didn't know that. How about that? Well, there you go. That's another one I didn't even know. And so love them or hate them, you can't deny if you're our age, they were influential to your childhood in some way. So Mr. Roberto Orci died earlier this year. Just wanted to shout him out. But yeah, so I'll turn it over to you guys. I assume you've both seen it before. Matt, I know you've seen it before. Thoughts from
I'll
both
let
of you?
Sam go first because I got a lot to say.
My road with the Mission Impossible series has been very weird. My first one I ever saw was 5.
Oh wow!
And
Whoa.
I saw it in theaters. And
Wait, Sam, we saw that together.
Yeah.
Wait, that was the
first Mission Impossible movie I had ever seen.
That's crazy. I did not know that was your first one, and that was because I remember seeing that with you in Greensboro.
Yeah, 5 is my favorite.
Really? Okay, cool. I mean, that's
And so
yeah, dude. That's crazy, bro. I did not know that.
And then I went to 3 next. And I like 3. 3 is so fucked up. Like the moment when he's like holding her and her like brain just pops and her eyes, like
I had forgotten how this is my third time watching this movie. I'd forgotten how graphic that was. I was really taken off guard by that.
So I saw this in theaters.
Oh shit.
Yes. 2006 makes me 8. I just did the math to make sure I was correct. I was 8 years old when I saw this in theaters. The opening of this movie fucked me up and confused the shit out of me.
Oh, it's a dark opening.
Yes. Then that scene scarred me for months. I swear to God that her eyeball all fucked up. I was not prepared, and neither was my dad, I think, for that scene in the movie. Which, again, I'll let Sam finish, but that will lead me to my point. This is the hardest Mission Impossible they've had so far. And then, Sam, you continue.
But that's where then I went from 5, 3 to 1, 2, and then I watched all the way up till 6 because that's when 6 was coming out. And then Matt and I went and saw 7 in theaters. And 3 just constantly keeps bouncing from like my favorite to my least favorite. It just depends on the rewatch, like the watch of the others. And so this was a very interesting rewatch because I just was like caught off guard by how good this was and how much I really enjoyed it. And it's now back up towards the top upper upper section of the list, and it's so good. And I didn't see because I didn't know that this was the first time Simon Pegg was in this until like way later after I had seen like a couple of them, and so
I
that
could be
also
wrong, but I heard a rumor that he replaced Ricky Gervais,
That
or they
makes
had
complete
considered
sense.
Ricky
wow
Gervais
okay.
That makes complete sense. I can totally see that.
And I do find this really funny because five being my favorite is also a moment where an actor that's going to appear later on this show comes into the franchise and also
Oh, yes,
stirs
yes,
the
I know
pot
who
a
you're
little.
talking about.
And yeah, it's great.
Thankfully,
It's
he's not pointing a loaded gun at me
exactly.
anymore.
It's still not a four level good to me, and it's not nowhere near five, but it's definitely up there with a lot of the stuff.
Sweet.
Matt.
Yes. Yeah, the opening fucked me up as a kid. One thing I noticed in the credits that I didn't notice before, because I obviously who the fuck would at that time. Michael Giannacchio, or however you say his last name, was the composer. That
Yep,
was crazy to
because he
see.
works with Abrams a lot as well.
Um, yeah, so this movie again, I saw it as a kid. It fucked me up. Uh, I have a lot to say about it because I saw some like things about it that kind of made sense where people said this is just mid compared to the rest. But honestly, this is the last Mission Impossible movie not to have some crazy stunt Tom Cruise is doing to almost kill himself to be the reason why you go see it. Because Ghost Protocol was the Burj Khalifa, the fall or Rogue Nation was
The side of the plane.
the side of the plane and the motorcycles too, but the side of the plane definitely.
Mhm.
Uh, Fallout was like the fucking
All the
under
helicopter
Jump.
stuff too.
helicopter stuff and the underwater shit.
Well, the Halo jump is the big
And
one.
the Halo jump. Fuck yes, the Halo jump. And then Dead Reckoning, of course, the motorcycle shit. But like this one was just Tom Cruise, being Ethan Hunt. This literally sets up the rest of the series, in my opinion, even though they kind of forget about Michelle Monaghan and Dead Reckoning.
Well,
But
but
like
she comes back for Fallout.
when she comes back from Fallout, but then in Dead Reckoning, they have that whole montage of people, and it's just not the why isn't she in it for a second? That's my gripe
I
for that
don't
movie.
remember that.
It's literally right before he does the jump. There's like a montage of women, and it's all the ones that are kind of in the movie or the last two. It's like Rebecca Ferguson, Haley Atwell, and stuff.
Well, so just the ones who were in that movie.
Yeah, but she should have been thrown in there.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing, but I just think that's what they were going
It
for.
felt like revisionism to me. I hope not, but anyways. But this movie really does set up literally the rest of the franchise to me.
Billy
It shows
Crudup's a
how
goddamn
he is the
bastard in this.
leader,
I
how he never
fucking
leaves
hate
people
Billy
behind.
Crudup. Sorry.
Billy Crudup, I loved him in the movie. I forgot about his whole thing. Uh, but yeah, because like the acting is great on all fronts. Billy Crudup's great. Tom Cruise is great. Philip Seymour Hoffman obviously is killing it. One thing we didn't mention, not only is he scary, he does such a great Tom Cruise impression.
Yeah.
Being Tom Cruise is so like, even though it is Tom Cruise's voice, the way he acts, like his face is like, yep, I could see Tom
One of
Cruise.
my favorite things is just the sequence in the bathroom and just when Tom Cruise is wearing his face. Just imagining Philip Seymour Hoffman just having fun, like pretending to be Tom Cruise, just made me smile.
Because like they've known each other for so long, I'm sure, because of Magnolia and
Oh
shit.
yeah, they were both in that. I didn't even think about that.
So it
Yeah.
was kind of like a weird. I'm sure. Yeah, I was like, hell yeah.
I
But
do
this
want to
movie,
shout out Eddie Marzin as well, though.
Eddie Marzian, I
Who
forgot. I
had,
didn't
I
even
think,
know who he
no
was.
lines in the whole
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
But I love him on Ray Donovan, and so like when I
He's great in
eventually
everything.
went back, like, well, I didn't ever really know him from anything, and so when I went after seeing Ray Donovan to seeing this movie, it was like, oh shit, he's in stuff, and then I started slowly piecing together his career, and then him and the Gentleman is one of my favorite things ever to exist.
He was one of the few things in Deadpool 2 I really liked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I forget he's in that sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this movie is one of those movies that like I want to say this is a continuation of the childhood movies we've seen because this one I've seen a lot as a kid, but it's always one that I start and by the end of it, I don't want it to be over. And at least thank God I've got about five other movies I can watch. But still it's like, damn, this is a solid one. And I know some people don't like this one, but I still this is like it's like Fallout, this one, and then I have my other rankings, but it's this one's number two.
I've only seen Fallout once. I want to like go back and kind of dive into it a little because I know a lot of people like it. I didn't see it in theaters, which I think kind of hurt my love of it a little.
I didn't see it in theaters either, but that didn't hurt my love of it
Okay.
because it was on Thanksgiving after a shift at work, and I'd rolled myself a perfect blunt and had a beer, and was smoking and watching the movie, and the whole first 15 minutes, the rug pull got me to the point when it happened, I went, "Oh shit," and I was like, "Okay, I love this movie now."
It was the aspect ratio changes during the helicopter fight that just really took me out of it.
I noticed that near the end, but the first 15, like the rug pull at the beginning, got me so well that I was like, I love this movie.
Yeah, 1 through 5 I've all seen multiple times. 6 and 7 I've only seen once each. So watching them all again, because that's why I picked this. I'm kind of cheating this week, because I'm rewatching all of the Mission Impossibles to prep for the new one. And I figured, well, I may as well make it easier for myself by picking one for the podcast. So I picked this one.
That's
Well,
where
now me and Sam are fucking watching the rest of
yeah,
them.
because Matt and I both skipped 1 and 2 for our own individual reasons, and then went straight to 3, and then now we are.
Oh, okay.
I'm committed. I'm gonna watch, like, because right now I know if I watch one movie a day, it'll be Friday when the movie comes out that I'm done.
Well, I'm seeing it on Sunday, so at least I think I am at the moment. So that's the plan. So I'm watching Ghost Protocol tonight, and I'm just going to keep catching up with it throughout the rest of the week. But yes, it should be mentioned. See, we don't have to hide the crashes so much anymore because Matt touched on it in the documentary. But it should be mentioned that in between the break here, I informed Matt that George Wendt had died, and now he's wearing his Cheers hat in remembrance of the iconic legend that was George Wendt.
This is the hat that I wore to the Cheers bar in Boston and sweated my ass off in.
Oh, wow.
I have washed it, but I did sweat my ass off in this hat.
But yes, rip to George Wendt, great actor.
No AC in that thing?
Huh?
No AC in that fucker?
Not well, there's kinda. It wasn't terrible, but I also have a white one, but that one's in my car. But that's the one I bought at the
sweating it. You were in Boston.
I walked 12 miles that day. I literally trained in from where we were staying, and I did not use a cab or a Uber or whatever. I just walked my ass from place to place.
Okay.
So that was a whole confused. And then I did bike later on in the evening as well. To the bar they shot fucking Good Will Hunting at.
Oh wow.
But that was after I missed my train. And if I hadn't missed my train, I wouldn't have the time to do that. So I'm glad I did.
Everything works for a reason. Everything happens for a reason.
It's a whole story. The Boston trip is a whole story.
But what was I going to say? Oh, so yeah, so this movie, just talking about my relationship with the franchise, it's been interesting because there you go. Got the whole regalia there. But
cheers.
Cheers indeed.
Norm. We
Mr.
did Norm for some random dude. We said his name.
Said what?
I was at the Cheers bar.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually was sitting at the bar. Granted, it does not look anything like the show until you go upstairs. They do have a replica of it upstairs. But the real bar. And some dude was like, "Hey, everybody, we're going to do a Norm for my friend. But his name is this, and I can't remember his name. I do have a video of it."
Well, but Matt, I thought that was the place where everybody knows your name.
Well, now we knew his name. We didn't know his name before. Now everyone.
Come on, now that's supposed to be. Well, not honoring the spirit of the place.
I'm a tourist. I'm a tourist.
Nevertheless,
who was a regular. It was kind of funny, but yeah, I was a tourist. But we did it for somebody, and it was cute.
That's cool. Yeah, rip to him. What was I gonna say?
Impossible. How does it relate to you?
Yes. So my experience with the franchise was this one. For the record, I've always loved this one. Anyone who calls it mid can catch these hands. I love this one to death. But yeah, it's anyone who calls it mid, I'm gonna be like Tom Cruise dangling Philip Seymour Hoffman out of the plane. But
intense ass fucking moment.
See, that's why I say this is the hardest.
I'll get to that in a minute. Yeah,
no movie is more like deadly than this. Like they're all kind of fun and like okay, he's gonna be in a situation, but we know he's gonna live.
Yeah, this one is well. So I'll just say this first. I love this one. I will say each time I have seen it, I have noticed things in it that do not completely work. This time I was watching it and I was like 90% of it, 95% of it is so solid. And then just there's this little extra bit where I'm like, okay, that doesn't make any sense, or that kind of doesn't work, or whatever it might be. But at the end of the day, it didn't change the fact that I still enjoy this one a lot, and I still think it is really good. And I do think this is the one that really set the tone. I think this one deserves a lot of credit because you look at the franchise as a whole. The first one is not the best movie, but I will say, having rewatched it again this week, that one got a lot better for me. I used to kind of not love that one. I thought it's fine. And it's still not great, but it is. I had a lot of fun watching that one this time. Brian De Palma does a very good job directing it. Two is a piece of shit. Two is absolute ass, just absolute fucking ass. Just a terrible, terrible movie.
I don't see the thing is I disagree with you, but I don't disagree with you.
Because you can't, because it's a fucking indefensibly awful movie.
I don't think it's a good Mission Impossible movie, but like it's a good John Woo movie.
No, it's not. It's just a terrible movie from start to finish.
I haven't seen it in a bit, but when I last saw it, which was like circa 2020, it's been
There's
a minute.
one,
I enjoyed it.
The motorcycle chase towards the end of the movie is great. Everything else in the movie is terrible.
You know, you can't deny that the opening scene of him hanging on the fucking mountain rocks,
It's
like
terrible.
Jesus, is not iconic.
It's terrible. With the fucking Limp Bizkit version of the theme song playing, it's terrible. The whole
You
movie
tell
is
me that if somebody was doing that in another movie, they wouldn't just be like, "That was Mission Impossible 2."
It's all about the
no,
he
it's
Still
so
iconic.
bullshit.
say what?
It's all about the he said, she said bullshit.
No, I mean,
Quit.
But
I don't think two. I think you could like remove two. However, I enjoy two for a John Woo movie.
I mean, like there are
That's why I disagree.
There are 2 points in that movie that are enjoyable: the motorcycle chase at the end, and the part that happens in every John Woo movie where the Duffs show up for no reason. I lost my shit watching it this time when the Duffs showed up because that's just the hallmark of every John Woo movie. Everything else in the movie is ass. It is the stupidest, most boring waste of time ever. It should be literally impossible to not have chemistry with Tom Cruise, but Tandy Newton figured it out. Like it is absolutely overwhelming the lack of chemistry that those two have in the movie and how terrible and thinly written her character is and how fucking over the top and awful the bad guy is, how boring most of the movie is. There's barely any action in it. I'm just like when the motorcycle chase finally happens at the end, I'm like, oh my God, John Woo's finally directing the movie. Everything until this has just been a boring romance.
Question. Am I crazy? Am I crazy? Or if we didn't have two, would Ethan's climbing skills in 4 and Ethan's motorcycle skills in 5 be kind of not foreshadowed?
You don't need them to be foreshadowed because he's an
Yes,
agent
you do.
who already knows how to do that shit. And he's scaling a building in this one. So no. He's running.
No. I mean, like, because no, again, that's what I mean. Like, without 2, there's no him climbing shit.
There's him climbing in this one. So if you cut 2
No, I'm talking about without, like, Mission Impossible 1 didn't have that shit.
But if you cut 2 out and just had 3 with him climbing, then the scene in 4 it still makes sense.
I suppose. I'm just saying 2 does set up quite a bit of his skill set.
No.
I'm doing my best, by the way, to be a John Woo advocate right here.
I like John Woo.
Are you?
That movie is terrible.
It doesn't sound like you're being very John Woo.
Well, the final cut of the movie, he didn't even have approval over, so there you go.
Sure, but he also made Silent Night. Okay.
What the fuck does that have to do with anything?
Just don't. I don't know.
I have nothing to.
It doesn't have anything to do with anything. But
in any case, 2 is a piece of shit.
Silence.
In any case,
if you can turn off your brain, you can enjoy the second.
It still sucks. It's so fucking boring.
It's funny. It's like.
It's the most boring goddamn movie ever made. It's so stupid. It's like literally the first hour and a half of the movie is just boring.
Okay, before we finish, this is going to lead me to my biggest question because we're talking about it. Because clearly Jackson has an opinion on this topic. Clearly what I'm about to ask. Short-haired Ethan, long-haired Ethan. Go.
Honestly, if you put a gun to
There's
my
one
head,
every other movie.
I know.
That means he's going to be long haired in this one, supposedly.
I don't mind either one, but if you put a gun to my head, I would say short-haired Ethan, just because in the second one, it just was a little too long. But again, I don't mind. I don't mind either one,
It's
but
like the same length as the fourth one.
Yeah, no, that's the fourth. That's a seat.
Is
Yes,
it the exact same length?
pretty much. Yep.
Two.
Okay, well,
I bet it's down to
when
a
I
shoulder,
get to Ghost Protocol, we'll see.
shoulder length. It's shoulder length.
I don't mind either one. If you put a gun to my head, I'd say short, but
I'm gonna say short too, but that's because I like Fallout and 3, and those are the best. And Dead Reckoning's really good too, and he's short.
But nevertheless,
I don't love
the point that I'm laboring towards is
stopping.
I'm flying away in a helicopter, and you're the jet that's chasing me, firing missiles right now. So I'm trying to escape.
We're going through wind turbines.
Yes, indeed. But the point that I'm trying to make is that the first two had issues, and this was the one to me that really like set the stage for it to be the great franchise that it has become. This is the one that set the tone of like, okay, we can actually like make these really good and like really do some grounded real stuff, because the first two, again,
wait. We're gonna pause real quick. Grounded.
compared to the first two,
I would say this is okay. Never mind. I was thinking about 4. You're good.
yeah, compared to the first
All right,
two,
4 has gotten into my head a little bit.
this
too.
one is much more grounded than the first
4
two.
was the least grounded, in my opinion.
I'll have to see it again. It's been a while, but the point is,
Loading shit.
it feels to me like this one was the one with the, like you said, the hardest action scenes, the hardest villain, the hardest suspense. Like it felt
Like there was no pulling the punches.
no, and it felt more grounded because
a charge inside somebody's brain again fucked me up so
there are
bad.
there are 4 or 5 scenes in this where the level of suspense, like the scene where he's waiting for the voice thing to work in the bathroom, that entire them waiting for the thing to charge, the defibrillator to charge on the helicopter, incredibly suspenseful. There are so many moments like that where you're genuinely, even if you're like me who's seen it 3 times, I'm still on the edge of my seat, just like
I
waiting.
had a great time with it too.
Yeah. And I thought it was a lot of fun. And I thought, just again, to me, Philip Seymour Hoffman brings so much to the villain, because on the page, the villain is really not remarkable whatsoever, the way he's written, but it's the way he plays him that makes him so scary.
Can I bring this up?
Yes.
I didn't realize this until this viewing. The writing is brilliant in a sense, because you open with the whole Philip Seymour Hoffman threatening Ethan. And then there's that
That's
scene.
also an incredibly suspenseful scene.
No, I was gonna say there's that scene on the plane when he tells Ethan, I'm gonna find her and I'm gonna hurt her. And in every other movie, you'd be like, oh, he's just bluffing. But in this one, you're like, oh, he does that. So you're like, oh fuck, that threat is real.
And even if you haven't seen that scene at the beginning,
I think that scene is kind of necessary.
No, but even if you even if you haven't, Philip Seymour Hoffman plays him so menacingly, I would still be like, I believe you, bro. I believe you're gonna fucking do it.
I mean, you believe it, like with that scene, it's like I don't know. I feel like that's what's missing from some.
But it does make it more effective when you know for a fact he is going to get her.
And you see Ethan's like, well, that's why like Tom Cruise.
I mean, yeah,
say what you will about him, amazing actor. When you see that anger in his eyes, which he doesn't do a lot of anger in a lot of the other Mission Impossible movies, this is probably his angriest.
Yeah,
I would say Ethan Hunt. He is fucking angry half the time. Movie.
And definitely one of the hardest openings to a movie I've seen.
Yeah, that first scene is fucking phenomenal. I mean, just incredibly suspense. And again, the way Hoffman plays it, he's just so like when he's yelling at him, "You don't think I'll do it?" I'm like, a million other actors could play this scene; it wouldn't be nearly as intense. But because he's doing it, I 100%.
I wonder if Tom Cruise brought him up, like if it was Tom's, like he was like, "Oh, Philip Seymour Hoffman would fucking kill this role."
But I think also, and again, on that helicopter in that scene, just again, it's the way he plays it, just the way he can say even the simplest lines in the most menacing way. It was a legitimate oh shit moment for me. And I've seen the movie 3 times where he says, what I'm buying and what I'm doing with it is the least of your problems, Ethan. I was like, oh, fuck.
And then he just looks at him like,
Yeah,
Like,
that
yeah,
was a
that
legit oh fuck moment for me, and I've seen the movie 3 times. I'm like, 'cause that's how well he plays that character, and there's also I really like also. It's not the best team, but I really like the team in this one. I like Jonathan Rhys-Meyers and Maggie Q. I like how they try to give them that one little scene in the car where he's like, "Teach me the prayer" or whatever. It's not much, but I like that they're trying to like flesh them out, you know?
my favorite Jonathan Rhys-Meyers part is when they are breaking into the whole event to, impersonate
I
Philip
know what
Seymour
you're gonna
Hoffman.
say.
But it's the Italian, to me, it was the funniest shit. The Italians being so nice to him after he gets his car fixed.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
He fixes the car, gets in, they're like, ciao, ciao.
Yeah.
They're like,
I love the
ah,
part.
great.
I
I'm
love the
like, if this
part.
is in America, everyone would be like, fuck you, get out of the way. And I was like, no, this is Italy. Everyone's nice. They're like, ciao. Great, you got
Yeah.
your car fixed. That's awesome.
I love the part
It's
where
like, man, I
he's
love that.
going into the wall and he's like, I agree with Luther. Guys like us, we're not cut out for marriage, and all that good stuff. But that's
Well,
another thing I
I
love.
miss him as an actor because I feel like he hasn't been around in a bit. And
No.
it's actually, I don't know if anything bad happened. I don't know if there's a canceling thing.
Yeah.
I just know that I really liked his performances when I saw him. So,
He had some personal troubles. He uttered some racial slurs. He got in some trouble. But yeah.
ooh.
But I
Put that
also
on the
one thing I really like in this one too is the way they really tried to first of all, they give him more depth in this one than the first two. Like, this is the first time we've ever seen his personal life. This is the first time we've ever seen him at home and his relationships with any family members. They mention he's an orphan, which already gives him a lot of backstory. And I really just like how they really fucking like focus on his and Luther's friendship in this one. Like, they're not just teammates. Like, Luther becomes like really his best friend in this one, which I really like. And it kind of sets the stage again for the later movies for that to emerge as well.
Was Luke? I can't remember because it's been a minute. Was Luther in the second one?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. Because
The
like
only
I
one he
remember
doesn't
the
have
first one the most.
the only one he doesn't have a big part in is four. He just has the cameo at the end, but yeah, but again, in one and two, they have a good relationship, but they're more teammates than friends. And in this one, I really like how they've been working together long enough. They really do feel like best friends at this point, and that's cool.
And I want to say this too, because like I think one probably would be necessary. And yes, you could cut out two completely. Like let's say you had the franchise and you just dropped two, you could do one to three, and I think that would make a lot of sense if that makes sense to me.
Yeah. And
But I think even then, you could maybe even could cut out one. If you're like, okay, we're gonna do a Mission Impossible movie based on the TV series, and then you started at three.
I guess
People would kind of know, like, okay, the main
because
character's I.
because again, three really did kind of was the start of the modern Mission Impossible, and I don't think it gets enough credit for that. Like, a lot of people will say it was Ghost Protocol, but I really think this is the one that like
Well, goes
really-
again.
Ghost Protocol's the look. This is the like.
Sure.
It's not even
solution
it's
and,
the
like,
spectacle. Gross Protocol is a spectacle. That's my
Yeah.
that's my
That's the one where the focus more became on these like crazy elaborate.
can we
action
can we
sequences.
get Tom to kill himself?
Yeah, and Tom
Tom
almost
be
killed
nimble,
himself.
Tom be quick,
Yeah,
Tom jump over death's candlestick, and we all applaud.
yeah, basically. Because there are action scenes in the first three, but they're not. The first two in particular aren't really that action heavy for a lot of it. This
They're
is
not, and even three isn't like it is action heavy. But
three.
there's-
Honestly,
one of my biggest
there's
complaints is
suspense.
not seeing Philip Seymour Hoffman's corpse. And I know the whole thing is like you see Ethan's reaction and so you understand that it is horrific.
His reaction is the fucking funniest shit because he goes like this. He goes,
yeah.
really? He's like, what the fuck just happened? I
His-
gotta go back.
His death is kind of a little anticlimactic, I'll say.
It is, but
The
it's
impact
also
of the
funny.
car is, at least with my soundbar and subwoofer, it was loud and it got me like shook, and I just wanted to see that fucking mangled ass fucking
But-
body.
One thing I will say, in addition to it having set the tone for a lot of the stuff, like you say, it's not particularly action heavy, but this one to me has two of what I consider the best action sequences in the franchise. Like the helicopter, them flying through the wind turbines. I thought that was phenomenal.
That's a GTA mission, by the way.
yeah, you're
It is.
pretty
I
much
did
right.
dead ass. It is.
Yeah.
I was doing the mission and I went, "This is Mission Impossible 3."
and
then helicopter
and The scene on the bridge to me is one of the best in the franchise. I think that is just
Bridge scene was great.
phenomenally well directed scene.
Also, the one scene that gets me a lot too is, which is weird because like I was a car kid. I'm not a car guy. I was a car kid. Okay. When they go through the fucking, thing and they have to blow up the car, and there's that moment where she's like, "Ugh, I don't want to blow this shit. She's like, but it's a nice car. And he's like, blow it. I love that scene because I felt
Okay.
like, I literally thought that right before I was like, oh, they're going to blow up the car. That sucks. It's such a
Yeah.
nice car.
But I also do like how they take little moments of levity like that too. The writing to me, one of the hardest lines in the damn movie, shout out to the writers, is Lawrence Fishburne saying, "I will bleed on the flag to make sure it stays red." I was like, that was fucking hard as fuck. All right, mic drop, leave the room after that one. But he was good. But then also here's my thing. Watching it this time, I did notice there were a few moments where the writing was a little weird. Like just, they would say kind of a stupid line every now and then. Because another one of Lawrence Fishburne's lines that kind of made me roll my eyes a bit was the first scene he's in, where it's kind of a serious, delicate moment where they're talking about his protege that was just killed, and he's like talking shit about her conduct, and he says like it's unacceptable that you would besmirch her conduct. It's also unacceptable that chocolate makes you fat, but here I am, and I'm just like,
I love that line.
I like the line, but it just didn't feel well timed in that moment. I was like, it doesn't really seem like the right time to be making jokes, but and then there's
He
a
wasn't
later line
joking.
where he
He
fucking,
wasn't joking.
no, I guess not, but
He was,
nevertheless. But he also, the scene where he's like scaling the wall, it's a cool scene, right? He's like, they had a little callback to the first movie where he drops down on the wire and then he scales the wall and he climbs up, and then it's a cool moment. And then for no reason whatsoever, he just says, Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. And I'm like, what the fuck?
that was the code to tell everybody that he was on the wall. Motherfucker. It's code. It's spy code. Do you not understand spy code? Okay, Jackson. We're gonna do a little lesson on spy code real quick. You don't say what you mean.
I
You
guess.
say vaguely what you mean. And honestly, anybody listening would know exactly what you mean. But you can't say that because you're a spy. So you have to be funny and clever. And he, I know literature. I know Humpty Dumpty, even though everyone knows that. See, you don't
Is it
get that.
standard? Can I ask a question?
Spy, Jackson.
Is it standard practice for the spies to use as many words as humanly possible to describe it?
Yes. Because the
Okay.
more words, the less likely
It's scrambled.
somebody
It's
is gonna
scrambled in
listen.
code within the text.
That makes sense.
They're not gonna listen after the first three words. They're gonna zone out.
That makes sense. You got to grab their attention right away.
Exactly. Like it's 101, man. Spy 101.
Well, you saw my tumble I took earlier, so I'm not
Exactly.
I'm not really a good spy.
Humpty Dumpty took a tumble off the wall, and the Kingsmen cannot put them together, and that is you, my friend.
I guess so.
This is why we're having this impasse right here.
Nevertheless, yeah, I don't know where we go after that.
To the next movie, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, wait. I have an announcement to make. So, I want to tell you all about this little movie. Roger, get me my back brace and my banjo, please. All right, so I want to tell you about this little movie that I found out about a few weeks ago. I was going to be on the podcast for potentially the Roger, get back. I found out that this movie with Alec Baldwin and Matthew Broderick that had come out in 2004, and Matthew and I have this conversation, Roger, that you can find some movies like Surfer Dude where it's definitely
Thank you.
a like creation that did not exist at all, and then they made it and then said it came out when it did. Oh, thank you. Give me 1 second. Roger has my shit. He finally came in. Don't hire a diabetic because they're fucking terrible. They don't listen to your ass.
We're getting onto something here.
What the fuck? Roger, what did you do to my banjo? There's only 2 strings, and they're not even...
You can't even do the dueling banjos on there.
I can't. Roger, you're fired. Alright. Sorry. Very, very harsh segue. But Matt and I...
I didn't watch Sam fire somebody now.
Matt and I believe that there are movies that exist that are fake.
Yes,
these movies should
they
not
were created
exist.
later on in life, and they were proclaimed to have been in a different era when they were not. And I thank you, Sam, for bringing that up. But go ahead.
And that is The Last Shot. So I haven't said this in a minute, but I want everyone to picture this. You are Alec Baldwin. You are an unsuccessful FBI agent who has been working hard, getting their fingers cut off, doing the dirty work. But for some reason, your older brother Ray Liotta has all the fucking shiznaz and is the head of the department. And you gotta prove yourself. You got to show the FBI that we can get these mafia mobster bullshitters that keep eluding us. Who are those people? Tony fucking Shalhoub. And that motherfucker is paying off the unions for film productions. And so this is your way in.
Because you need trucks.
Yeah, you can't have a film production without trucks. It just
Actually
doesn't
is the
exist.
truest statement. One of the truest statements this movie made. You cannot make a movie without trucks.
And so you're gonna make a movie, trick this motherfucker into racketeering for the fact that he is going to block the union or pay the union off with his own people or just do his own thing. Didn't quite understand that whole thing, if it was his own people or if he paid the union. And you are going to hire a fake film director to make this movie. And that person is Matthew Broderick. And that man has a dilemma. One, his sister had cancer and died. And so he wrote a screenplay about it. That, as all people in Los Angeles do. Two, his girlfriend hates the fact that they live next to America's celebrity kennel. And she's about to stab this puppy in the face. This Pomeranian's about to get fucking sliced and diced. And three, he comes from a family of Western reenactors where his brother, who co-wrote his screenplay from, will not give him full rights to the screenplay. Played by Tim Blake Nelson. You get this culmination in a pot. And you get The Last Shot.
Hey, Sam, we don't give a shit. Just tell us the play.
Arizona. Picture this. A sunny, hot desert where you see the silhouette of a woman peeking out through. She is on the brink of death, but she is also thirsty for life. This is our main character. I don't know what y'all want from me. This movie's fucking crazy. This movie is ridiculous. This movie is based on a true story, which is what is also even more fucking batshit. I know loosely, but still the fact that the FBI hired or got this dude to think that he was making a movie just to get mobsters is a wild story.
He was inspired by the Argo story.
Yeah.
It's
I
one
will
of
say
the
this
thought.
before Jackson, you take it away. All I'm going to say is this. Didn't love the movie. I didn't hate it either. There's actually parts that I thought was interested in. However, yeah, this movie is fucking weird as shit. And I honestly feel like this is a movie I would have seen earlier in my life, unless, but I'm glad you picked it because I wouldn't have seen it otherwise now. This seems like one of those things you see the cover of and you're interested in by the cover and the actors. Other than that, you wouldn't know shit and you just have to watch it. There are some moments where I enjoyed very much. There are some moments where I did not give a fuck. But you know what? Again, Sam, I will say this. Thank you for picking this because I would not have watched this any other way.
I heart Mandy
I,
Potato.
if I had a sign, it would say I heart Pat Morita. All right, Jackson, you go.
Yeah, this you know, was kind of just so I watched this and the other one both this morning. This was the last one I saw. And I really just there were parts of it, it wasn't even that bad. It was fine. It wasn't good. It was towards the end for okay, so basically for the first half of it, I was like, it's whatever. It's not great or even really good. It's just fine. You know, it's not offensively bad. About halfway through, I was like just bored out of my fucking skull and remained so for the rest of the film. Could not possibly, if I tried, have given less of a shit about anything. It really, the whole thing basically just kind of felt like a discount get shorty to me. It was like just really trying hard to be that and just didn't have nearly as much of the snappiness or charm or cleverness or anything. I don't know. It feels like a lot of the time I see these like, you know, kind of satirical Hollywood movies about the business, and they usually are charming or clever enough to get me interested. But this one just, it's like, oh my God, all the cliches that we've seen in all the movies like this that just nothing clever about it. Just that was basically just my takeaway.
Very very much a State and Maine meets grilled kind
Ah,
of
Not a bad description.
twist. It's
so
bullshit. It's fucking weird. The opening montage like credits like
Those
being
were
in
creative.
green, it
and
caught me
did
off
you pick
guard.
this movie because you had seen it or because you just wanted to watch it?
I wanted to watch it. I saw
Oh,
the poster and the poster looked absolutely ridiculous. And I cannot
yes.
believe we haven't brought it up. Tony Collette is one of the wildest fucking characters in this. And
Joan Cusack. We didn't bring up Joan Cusack either.
you're right.
Joan Cusack has some of the best lines. Honestly, I think they gave her all the good lines.
Yeah, pretty much. All her
Every
lines
time she was
were
in a movie, in the scene, I was like, yes, I want. She was like, when she goes, every single one of you would fuck me over this desk right now. If you knew that after you fucking came, you'd be having lunch with Harrison Ford after. I just, I was laughing.
the movie did get a few decent
The
laughs out
piss
of me, and
scene.
her lines all were among them.
You want to eat lunch off my ass? I thought you were kosher. Brilliant. I was like, that's brilliant.
It was the piss scene where I truly lost my scene, where Tony Collette was at dinner with them and she just stood up and then pissed in that glass and then slammed it down and it got
Second movie in a week where
all over
somebody
their
just
food.
pissed in front of people.
Yeah, because again, I made a rock joke to myself again when I saw that scene. So I was like, okay, that's the second week in a row I've been able to make that joke.
Also, I feel like I have to bring this up because
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Ray Liotta.
We've had multiple R.I.P.s.
Signature. This
My
is lit.
letterboxd review that I didn't post was going to be probably Ray Liotta's most dangerous stunt yet, having Alec Baldwin point a gun at him. But There you go with that.
Straight off the bat, though, like
He didn't know at the time.
his name being Steven Schatz is like, it has to be a fucking joke. Like Steven shat his pants trying to make this movie because it didn't work out.
I'm proud of them for not going that low, at least, because it was right in front of them.
Right. I mean, honestly, one thing that I thought was interesting, and this is gonna sound dumb, just because I started working in a movie theater recently, when Matthew Broderick was turning off all the shit at the end, my one thought was, wow, things don't change. We have everything was the same. I was like, damn, that's how you shut shit down.
It's almost like they filmed it probably on the same day in the same location, didn't bother to update it. But
The thing that also kind of caught me off guard though was like the people who made it are all like fantastic behind the scenes. So it's like just like a weird combination
I
because
mean,
like you have Jonathan Nathanson who wrote
Catch Me If You Can, The Terminal, Rush Hour 3, bunch of stuff.
and then you got Rolf Kent, the composer of like the Dexter theme, Up in the Air, Sideways, all these like people, and it's like it comes together and it like works. It just is like the most middle of the pocket movie that just stays on that straight line the whole time. It does like it. It made me think of this movie called So I Married an Axe Murderer, but like that movie, I think really pushed the boundary of comedy a lot and like took things a lot further. And I think this was
I love So I Married an
trying
Axe.
to do that,
I
and it
always
just
wanted to
wasn't
see it.
quite the same.
Sarcastic
It just
shit.
wasn't quite there where that was, and so like that's like also follows that line, but that like dips up, and this just main lines.
I mean, there's a lot of good things. Like Tim Blake Nelson's great.
I loved his
I like his
character.
performance, honestly, because like I feel like he's always playing a fucking weirdo or something, and this is like, okay, he's playing a brother who was like, like he's playing a normal guy in this movie. He's not trying to be kind of weird or trying to be off-putting.
Greater than usual,
Like
yeah.
Nelson. Because like he's always either a character actor or like even when he's kind of normal, he's always kind of pathetic or something.
Cool.
He didn't seem that way to me this time, and I kind of like that because like he's just like, yeah, I'm your average dude. I succumb to
I
life, but whatever. Like I'm not pathetic about it. It's just like, fuck you. I like that to
I
me.
got two things to say. One, I love the Randy Newman joke. And on that
He had
note,
no idea. He was like trying to pretend. Poor people got no reason.
no reason.
Well, good thing.
What is that?
What is that?
Sorry.
Was that you?
That was me. I apologize.
What the fuck? Is someone calling you?
No. I moved my phone over and it went on the arrow keys and pushed the right arrow key down.
That sounded so crazy.
It sounded like a phone was ringing. I thought someone was calling you. Damn, that was random.
My biggest favoriteest moment out of two moments was the Andy or I Heart Mandy Patinkin dude. He stuck out in my brain quite a bit. I don't know about y'all.
I remember him.
Sam, you have to do this. After the podcast, you have to go onto the street corner.
Yeah, I can
You
wear
have to have
this.
Stuart film you from the other side of the street
I can
while
wear
you
this.
wear the Mandy Patinkin thing for at least half an hour.
Yeah,
Mandy
and then get
Patinkin.
back.
Wait, no, under you got to put honk if you love Mandy Patinkin. That would be the funniest shit ever if we could just cut that in with this part.
That would bring it home. Yeah.
You're just on the side of the street, and we're talking about you pretending to be homeless, but really not because you're promoting Mandy Patinkin.
I'm pro Mandy Patinkin all the way.
I am as well.
You got to go to like a pro-choice rally with that and just be like, I'm pro Mandy Patinkin.
Yes, please do report back how that goes if you decide to do it.
If I put this on, the first thing I'll do is go into a maternity ward with the baseball bat and just start whacking. So, and number two, which is my second point, which is what I probably will actually do, is go to a kennel, pick up a Pomeranian and a fucking knife, and just fucking go bananas.
Bro, this movie does not abide by the movie laws at all. They're like threatening to kill dogs and shit. The dog commits
The
suicide.
dog suicide was so good.
Unexpected.
I could not believe the dog suicide. I mean, you gotta give a movie fucking credit. To have a whole storyline about a dog committing suicide in a jacuzzi while the FBI agent is away from home because he wasn't home enough to, like, love his pet.
So my question is, I didn't do any
batshit
research.
storyline.
Is that true? Because
That I don't know. I didn't really look much up about
because
this.
here's my if it was like his wife who did it, and there was some writer in the writing room who said, wouldn't it be funnier if it was his dog? But like the true story was, no, it was his wife.
Which would explain why it's his wife within the actual story.
Sorry. Which is what I'm like, I didn't do any research. So I'm like, did y'all? Because
I have yet to do any research. If I had to guess, I would guess that 99% of this is complete fiction. I based on a true story, my fucking ass. But you know,
well, so was the terminal.
Say what?
So was the terminal.
Well, good point. And catching
same writer.
So
honestly, that's why I was like, there's some good moments of writing, and I was like, okay, I can see where this is the writer of these other movies. Like I could see that.
That's a good point.
In certain moments.
That is definitely true.
But there wasn't a whole lot that I loved about it. But I also watched it pretty fucked up and intentionally that way to enjoy it.
I just kind of let myself laugh with it, and I laughed at a lot of it, even though it was not good.
I mean, I did too. Same.
So
I laughed at a lot of shit that wasn't, but half of it was like also like when Joan Cusack was like, "Do you want to eat lunch off my ass?"
She was one of my favorite parts of the whole movie for sure.
Yeah.
She never got her banjo or
about 2003, right? Maybe a year
3
before.
or 4.
Yeah, it was about the same year School of Rock came out.
Oh shit.
And I wanted to eat
completely different
sandwich off her ass with the pickle spear. Don't ask me what I'm doing with it. In that movie too.
Good God.
Oh my goodness. And in pretty much well, does that also apply to Jesse from Toy Story?
Yeah.
Okay. Had to ask.
No. You know, if I had Jesse from Toy Story, there'd be a hole soldered between those buns.
Well, now we know.
They call it pegging, but that's only because I could put a peg on Woody's dick. And I have to kind of cuck myself for this fantasy because I clearly can't fit my dick inside Jesse's toy.
Oh, okay.
Wait, I got more. No, I'm just fucking with you. I got more. That was it. That was too much already. I was trying to go as far as I could.
Oh man.
Back to the movie, it's like you also have the cinematographer, David Rosenblum, who I love. What are you about to say, Matt?
No, I'm just like, if you could use what I said and then just cut it in with Sam saying that. I'm just saying the most worst shit and then Sam
trying to talk.
Cinematographer.
I love The Insider. I love Black Mass. I love all of his stuff. And so, like, every single person behind the scenes is just wild and have their own personality and flavor. It's crazy that this is the result.
And the rating is so low. It's like a 5.7.
Justified.
Which is probably deserved.
Yeah.
I would say so.
Yeah.
I can see it.
We're definitely glad I got that off my my chest. Just as Toni Collette in this took everything off of her chest in front of Eric Roberts and got absolutely demolished on that Cinemax. Oh, we didn't even fucking mention what's his name? Tom McCarthy, who went on to become one of my favorite directors and as one of the just like agents and stuff like that, and it's all over the fucking place. But I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
So
Sam, you picked a fucking wild card this episode. This was like the what the fuck is this
It
movie?
definitely was a random one. This felt more like a Matt pick than a Sam pick. As a matter of fact, it seems to me like you two swapped picks this week because it felt like the ones you chose would normally have been chosen by the other. I couldn't help
Well, that's because we know like if Sam chose my pick, I would have chose something along the lines of his pick probably. But
yeah, I guess
since my pick had already been established 2 weeks in advance, that helped.
no that yeah, because you had mentioned it. That's true.
My next pick is Cat in the Hat, so fuck you. I'm just kidding.
Well,
I
that would
mean, it would
be
fit.
It's not Cat in the Hat. Actually, I do have another pick that's gonna be my second one. I'm just being a dick.
oh
You
man.
need
Cat
to
in the
step
Hat's
it
my
up.
finale pick, actually. If it's on anything, Cat in the Hat, mark
This
my
ends
words,
with us
my finale.
and Cat in the
I
Hat.
have to ruin my streak. If I'm doing a good streak, like let's say I have a stellar streak. The
Jackson, how are you gonna
finale of
even
the season, I
compete?
have to fuck up.
Say what?
How are you gonna be able to compete with those two movies?
That's a that's hard to compete with. I'm gonna have to. Well, I'm glad you've mentioned this because now I'm gonna have to spend the whole rest of the season coming up with something that can rival those two movies because that's a tall order. That's for
Mhm.
sure. But I will do my best
I mean,
because
if I fuck up before then, maybe I
we're
won't pick.
talking about this like I'm actually going to survive watching both of those movies in the span of a week. There's no chance of that happening. But
No, actually, Jackson,
I'll
this
pick
is the one
Suburbicon.
episode you're actually drinking during because you're like, I
Yeah, you finally
I
open the
might have
vaults
to get
on.
through Cat in the Hat alone. I might have to, but
We'll
we'll
need
nah,
like
see.
Cat in the
live
Hats. I'm
updates.
certain that if I fuck up before, then maybe I won't, or maybe I'll choose it early. But if I can do a good season, if I can do a 99.9% run, I will fuck up the last one with Cat in the Hat on purpose.
That would be a fitting ending for sure. A good character arc, a good through line for the second season.
Yeah.
But definitely, like, I knew the second it started, mine was the weakest of the season, or not season, but like
Of the
I
episode.
mean,
episode.
But compared to the other two movies,
the moment you
there's
chose it, I was like, okay.
this is not going to
Mine
be
really sucked,
what
but it didn't. But I don't think
yours.
it's a comedy.
Yours is the most somber movie I've seen in a while.
Mine doesn't make any sense because they label it as a comedy. All in every format, like IMDb, Google, whatever the fuck.
Maybe we just don't understand
Comedy.
what
No, it
Russians
is not
found
funny.
funny.
It's
Well,
like it's humorous, it's lighthearted at times in in segments.
we're looking at it through the American perspective. In Russia, they may think this is hilarious. We don't know.
I already brought it up, but it is fitting though that we went from Mission Impossible to my pick because of Alec Baldwin being in the fifth one, and also being well, he was CIA in Mission Impossible, but like
It's pretty close.
yeah, at the same
I don't
point,
think
it's
the
all the
Russians
same
find
kind of
this
shit.
funny at all.
You don't think so?
Sorry, accent.
I felt like they probably found it touching, and like the ending with all the graves and everything.
Depressing as hell. You mean
a love letter to the people they lost in World War II?
the movie was about how war and there's like like the
Well, if we're gonna, should we,
I want to
should
say
we jump to that one if we're gonna go into it?
okay, sorry, yes.
Well, any
I,
last thoughts on
I'll go
last
I'll
shot?
go into this in a
Any
second.
last shots on the shot, other than the shot that Matt took all over Alan Cummings' Twitter account?
I don't think he has one anymore because of Elon, but because I tried looking up my tweet and I could not find it for the life of me, and it was pissing me off. I know I have a screenshot of it on a computer somewhere. That same computer has the shot of me at the smoke building, but the one the smoke mechanics place that I said I
Oh,
had. Same
Oh,
computer has a picture or a screenshot of the Alan Cumming thing. That is the same computer,
Hmm.
which I need to get, and then we can just. I will in one episode. I will just put a little thing together. But yeah, I don't know. The last shot was. Thank you for picking it, Sam. That's all I'm gonna say. I would never have watched this movie without you picking it, so thank you.
yeah.
yeah, boring as fuck in the second half in particular. Not
Not like
really
the
much
twist
to
that
say
the
other than that.
sister
Just
was fake.
Play it again, Sam.
yeah, I bet Jeff Nathanson thought he was really clever with that one.
He really did. I almost threw my shoe at the screen when he said that. I didn't even have a shoe on. I just wish I did. I had a sock on, and I was like, "This is bullshit."
You're going to find
Then
a
it would have
shoe, so
been.
you
Then it
don't
would have
know.
been. Bo was afraid because of the shoe and the computer screen and that.
Callback.
We've had many RIPS, many callbacks,
I guess a
many,
lot of RIPs
many,
this episode.
many.
A lot of RIPs.
But nothing
RIP to the
beats.
bit. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, nothing
None of us
beats.
have had a bit.
Nothing is the callback. That is what our, at least for us, what our grandparents went through, and that is the Great War II.
What is it good for? Huh?
Absolutely nothing. And we never get the perspective as an American of and how many war films have gotten of what the Soviets really do. Like I've never really gotten that perspective other than through my dad who watches a bunch of Russian war films. And with that, we got to take to the skies. And Matt, I want you to fly your plane and fly it good. And I want you to decipher the code that I could not decipher that is on the side of your plane. That is GB D sharp B, which is also G4 B4 D sharp 5 B4. And I don't know if that has any kind of signal. I just don't know. And I want to find out. Matt, your audio went out, but I am loving what's happening on this
The
screen.
visuals speak for themselves.
Anyways, so yes, as Sam was saying, you are Soviet. You're a Soviet Russian. And you know what? You are a maestro in the air. You will shoot down the Nazi pilots, the German enemy, without remorse, and you guys will conduct yourselves as if you were an orchestra. However, not only are you an orchestra in the sky of fierce, dominating violence, you are a melodious orchestra on the ground to ground your troops and make them feel wonderful and good and whole in that respite moment while you are grounded and not in the air.
Wars come and go, but music is forever.
Exactly. And in this movie, only old men go to battle. That means that if you are new to the infantry, you will take a second because you clearly don't know what the fuck you're doing. Because we are at war and they didn't have time to train you as enough. So they will ground you until they feel you are truly ready. And you will watch these men do dogfights and awesome air battle in probably one of the craziest, most, I want to say realistic, like air fights because it seemed like
Russian
they
Top Gun.
straight up were in a fucking plane when they were filming the shit. And it's a Soviet movie. And like what were you gonna say, Sam?
It's the fucking Russian Top Gun.
Yes.
You got your squad, you got your planes, you got
You
your
got your nicknames.
You got your nicknames.
I love the nicknames in the movie, and it was fucked up because the ending of the movie did not how ended how I expected. And
So sad.
It's so sad, and the musical sequences are so good. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it there before we get into the rest, because obviously there's more to get into. But I will leave it up to you guys to continue this what I'm going, you know.
You can go first, Jackson.
Well, so this was a movie I had never ever heard of until Matt mentioned it. It was going to be his pick a couple of weeks ago, or I think last week, and he pushed it back so we could do the walk-in thing. So I was curious to check it out. And yeah, so it was like I had no idea what to expect going in. And yeah, this was a great one. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I had a great time watching it. I liked not only the characters and the story and just how emotional it got, but also just it's the first movie like this that I've seen that was actually filmed from like the Russian perspective, like of World War II, like with Russian directors and writers and actors and just kind of telling their side of World War II and just this crew just trying to stay sane in the middle of battle. And that was interesting, and I thought it was very well done. Great main character, great side characters. Everybody felt like they had something to do. I like the old guy who's always fixing up the planes. And yeah, just all around a great enjoyable time. Unlike the other one, it felt like it flew by pretty fast and didn't drag for me.
So real quick, I just need to show this from the Wikipedia page. This is the main character from the movie, 35 years after the premiere. It's on Wikipedia.
Yeah, I saw that.
Damn.
Show everyone.
That's awesome.
Clearly, this movie, like, if they're all going to get together 35 years after, it made some kind of impact, at least in Soviet Russia, which is kind of cool because, especially at the time, we're kind of used to like global cinema, if that makes sense. Like, we're used to being able to access whatever part of cinema in any part of the world, for the most part. We're able to kind of access that, right? At the time, I feel like this movie was almost like landlocked to Russia. And it took probably years for it to kind of expand from that, which I think is interesting. And I'm sure I didn't look this up to the point where I'm just kind of speculating, because like if 35 years later they're all going to get together for a picture, it took that long for like somebody to recognize the greatness of this movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's kind of what I mean when I say like it's cool seeing their perspective, because like it really does feel like you're seeing something that was landlocked for decades probably, and it's like this old kind of footage that just kind of made its way out, and it's like, oh, this is a peek behind the Iron Curtain during that time, and like just kind of
Their
seeing what was
their
going on there.
shots were so good too. Like goddamn, like the shots were great.
Very good.
Because there were shots where I was like, okay, this is basic ass like plane shots. But then there was a shot of them on the ground where there was like it was like an up like a looking up shot. And the plane just shot over their heads as they were talking. And
They
I was
were
like,
having tea.
they had to plan that shit. Like that wasn't just luck. So I was like, hell yeah. And there are overcast days. There are some overcast days which I thought were great. Uh, but that's just I mean, Sam, out of curiosity, one question I had was because I really fucked with the whole fact that they were a musical troupe as well. How did you feel about that?
Um, I think that's why this is my favorite movie of this week. Not only does the music of the film just transcend you into this whole like kind of aesthetic, them bringing these joyous moments and having these moments where like they're trying to help each other and that dude was conducting that wasn't the maestro and all that kind of stuff, um really sink you into this kind of like perspective. And I know there has to have been a very big message because they constantly said like music is something that lasts. We can teach you how to be a pilot, but everyone here has to be a musician and all these kind of things, and you have to bring kind of something to this world that isn't just death and isn't just the complete dog fight that is what they are presented with. And that's where I resonated with the character who kept on like fleeing and not being able to shoot his gun and everything. And it's like you have that juxtaposed with Maestro, where like the old man says like, "Oh, your gun's fine. You just shot every bullet that was inside of it." And these constant battles between these personalities with these people. And one of my favorite characters in the whole movie was the Kenneth Branagh looking fuck. I looked up his name just so I could pronounce it. Try to. Victor Shinenko. Um, yeah, Kenneth Branagh looking fuck.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who thought that.
He was so good, and I just every time he was on screen, my light lit up in my eyes, and there was just so much I could gravitate towards with this movie, and made me want to pick up my accordion, which is somewhere in this fucking room, and just start fucking jamming, which is completely why I had to start this episode off with that music that they sing in the very beginning of the movie, because it sets the tone. And this movie is so somber. It just, you're enjoying it and you enjoy what's going on, and then they have that kind of time jump, and then you come back to find Blackie dead, and everything from then on just kind of like turns into total chaos, and it's hard to watch.
Yeah. I mean, so I'm in the process of trying to find out this guy's name. Um, Years ago when I was young, I was shown around the Udvar Hazy Smithsonian Museum, which was shown in Transformers Dark of the Moon, I think. The guy who showed us around was a very real pilot, in the Air Force, and he had been in dogfights similar to this one. He's not Soviet, obviously, he was American, but he had been in dogfights. And he said every time he got to the ground, no matter how steady his hand was in the air, the moment he got out of the plane, he couldn't stop shaking for like 45 minutes. Like his whole body was just
Wow.
adrenaline rushed. And when I saw this, I was like, okay, this is probably kind of what he went through, because no matter what, war is war. And despite whether you're on what side you're on, those feelings are kind of probably similar. Despite, again, doesn't matter. You're still going to be nervous. Even if we're identifying with like the American, whatever, like people, it's like when you watch this movie, it's like very easy to just kind of I like these guys. Like they're very likable people.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be the enemy to us, but they're not. Like when I watched this movie, I really liked that because I was like, oh fuck yeah. Like they should make more of these kinds of movies. Low key. But that's just me. I don't know. I fucked with this a lot though. And this was just on a watch list from eons ago, so I don't even know where I found this.
I've been trying to decipher, as I brought up, what that piano, in my head it was a piano thing, but it could have to do with the theme of the music, which it tricked me because I can't think of the name all of a sudden, but when it does that, like when they are running to the planes and getting in, they start that kind of triumphant music, and then it breaks off into its own thing. But the composer definitely really I think had an influence on a lot of what was happening story wise, because having that connection with them all being musicians allowed personality to be injected through each of the characters singing, and each of the characters, like the main character, to a degree main character, being nicknamed Maestro and having that painted onto his thing. It just I gravitated towards it quite a bit.
It's something I noticed. I was like, well, Sam picked another movie about the importance of music. I was like that. I could see when I was watching it. I was like, this one will probably speak to him in a way. It was a good message. Just yeah, music is forever. War is transient, or whatever he said.
War is not.
Yeah.
Music's forever. War is not. I don't see how this is a comedy still. I stand by my initial statement.
No, you're not wrong at all. Not a comedy.
Like there's
Jackson, you're gonna have to cut this. You're gonna have to cut this, Jackson. You had a woman in charge of all the men, so definitely that's where I think they saw the humor for the times. Female captain.
Oh, right.
The female captains and everything, and they were all about to walk out, and she was like, "You're about to walk out without your superior officer dismissing you," and all this kind of stuff. That's where I thought that's where they were trying to go with the humor.
That is probably something they would have found amusing at the time, honestly.
Which is fucked up, but
yeah.
it's totally like I think what they were trying to say with the humor. You okay, Matt? That plane hit you right in the ear.
But yeah, it was definitely a very fun watch. I mean, not fun in like it was, harrowing at parts, but fun as in like it was a good movie, an enjoyable time, a good story, and like you said, very good camera work and the scene in particular where it's like kind of evening and um they're like walking through the trees in the shadows and then they step out into the light. I thought that was incredibly well shot and the lighting was great and everything.
The ending. Romeo. Romeo. Why did they kill Romeo? I thought they were going to kill Maestro, but they killed Romeo. And that was so fucking sad because, of course, they had to kill the new guy. They couldn't kill the old man who went into battle. They had to kill the newcomer, which was fucked up. And I love the nicknames they gave him, Grasshopper and Romeo. But still, that was sad as fuck. I mean, like that's why I say they call it a comedy. But the ending of the movie was so fucking sad. Like, there's no laughter in that. Like, fuck.
That's what war is, bro.
I guess the Russians have a different sense of humor.
Yeah. It's all kind of fun and games until the shit hits the fan.
Until Masha is
And
husband.
those fuckers
She's also dead.
swoop in and they shoot down your
Trophy. Whatever they call it.
I love that they called the German planes fuckers. It made me laugh every time.
Not like in the beginning when Maestro came back from that mission when they were like, "Oh, he's dead," and then he comes back in the German plane. I was like, "Oh, that's a great scene."
I like the part where they take him hostage too. That was kind of funny, low key.
Well, that's where not to like keep
Yeah.
bringing back old episodes, but it made me think of Spoilers of Babylon a little. With what was going on with like the pilots and him getting kidnapped.
Oh, I see.
Crashing the plane and then
I see.
coming out of the plane.
Actually, thank you.
Yeah, I can kind of see the connection there. I can see where at first I was like, what the fuck? And yeah, no, you're right. Similarities for sure.
Maybe they've seen this movie and they were like, "We're gonna fuck with it," but like, also, I'm sure there's a lot of POW movies.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh.
I'm sure.
Oh my god!
But not every POW movie features them busting out of the bamboo like Spoilers of Babylon does.
Very true.
And not every fucking war movie features a goddamn accordion vocal duet, and I lost my shit over it.
Editing was so good when you're like when they did the music and they would just cut it in with boom and then it'd be like war scene.
Yeah.
I love that shit. But yeah, I will say I'm glad I picked it. I'm glad we watched it.
I'm very glad you picked it too, because honestly, it was hitting play on this movie this week was kind of a chore for me.
That's why I didn't. That's why I switched it for the rundown because I felt like a chore when I was about to hit play.
I just very much was like, I'm gonna put this off, kind of thing, and lo and behold, from the get go, I was just like, oh, I love this, and I was like glued, and I was not talking very much at all during the movie and that kind of stuff, and that's how I know I was like really connected with it.
I tried to watch it when I got home from work last night. I started it. I was way too damn tired to finish it. I had to stop and then I started it again this morning. And I've never done, there have been plenty of times where I watched one movie the day of recording. I've never done two. So I was nervous because I still had this and The Last Shot. And The Last Shot, as much as it bored the shit out of me, it was nice to have had this beforehand to like feel good about, having seen something good because it's like, okay, now whatever happens, at least I've seen something good today. Like it was pretty much the first thing I saw when I got up. So it was, and again, it flew by like the planes. It just, did not feel like once I started it, it didn't feel like a chore like it would have if I had tried to see it last night. So
Well, my thing was like if I had watched this after the Christopher Walken movie, I would not have paid attention because all I would have wanted to do is watch the rundown. So I'm glad I picked the rundown and then moved to this because, yeah, I did not. I had a less of a interest in picking this movie or like clicking play on it like last week. This week I was like, okay, I'll hit play on this one. Let's see what happens, and I loved it, but I didn't want to like go in with bad vibes.
I know I haven't seen the Mike Nichols movie. I think it is Catch 22.
I thought that would be a good combination with this. Yeah,
It made me want to watch that quite a bit, and then also the George Clooney produced TV show,
I would just go with the catch 22.
the movie.
I know we talked about doing a remake season or episode sometime soon, but
That's what would be really hard because
oh, I know my pick.
Oh, okay.
I got my pick locked, loaded. I'm gonna shoot it when we're done with this episode.
Heard. But I'm really happy you picked this, Matt. Like it was something I never even it was not on my radar in any way, shape, or form. I need a physical release of this from like Criterion or something. Like
It's our second Russian on the podcast, right? Stalker in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point.
And I would say two are probably way different Russian movies.
Very different.
Still sad as fuck in the end though.
Yeah. Sad
Like,
as hell.
no matter what, it's sad. And things have repercussions, man.
That they do.
They know it.
Hey, so guys, I just want to leave this on a somber note. The young people, the young podcasters, they need to sit their ass on the grass while we fly because only old men are going to battle. And by this episode, I would call us old men. In parentheses, because when I first saw this, I thought old men are literal. And then when I saw the wiki of this, it was old men in quotes. And I went, because I'd seen the movie, so I got the old men. We're not old men. We're just old men. They're experienced men.
Yeah.
And we're experienced men. And thereby I dub you Workman and Halar.
Those are our nicknames.
Yep. So just our last names.
Oh my god.
Hey, fuck you, man. I'm
I need
trying
to
here.
bring this up because your nickname fits into the fucking movie. I wrote this down. You're George from Dinky Jazz. You're George from Dinky Jazz.
What's jazz? What's jazz?
What's jazz?
It's from Dinky.
It's from Dinky. I lost my shit over that moment.
It's what's jazz from Dinky. I don't know why I laughed at that.
So yeah, I dubbed the George from Dinky Jazz.
One of the wilder moments for sure.
To bring it all back. I have dug up the bones of a Russian soldier to play this instrument today to bring y'all the 3 for 3 podcast. This episode has been a goddamn mess, and I apologize to Jackson first and foremost. I don't know how you're going to be able to edit this one because we have all.
It's going to take some time, but I'll get there.
But we're here. We watched 3 movies. I am 3 for 3 this week. I'm assuming y'all are not.
2 for 3.
I understand why, and I think that this set of movies kind of like pushes our boundaries in terms of what we're willing to let on the show and where we're gonna go and where our flavors kind of influence the situation. And my name's Samuel Holler. I was joined by Matthew Patterson, Jackson Workman. I want everyone who has enjoyed this, and even if you didn't enjoy it, to vote in the poll. Fucking let us know which movie you like and didn't like. And like and subscribe. And we'll see you soon.
Very soon.
Very
next
soon.
Wednesday.
If I had to guess, that's what I'd say.
I'm no fortune teller.
Forewarning. Whatever comes out of me next Wednesday, don't judge me for it, because it is going to be either the lowest low or the highest high I have reached on this show. And we will push the boundaries, because like Critters pushed it, we went somewhere else with it. This kind of pushed it. We didn't really go somewhere else with it. I have a feeling next week is going to push it in the going somewhere wild with it kind of side of things. And
Very ominous.
I'll leave y'all with that.
Something to think about over the next week.
And that has been a 3, 4, 3. Oh, whatever I'm doing. 3, 4, 3. Yeah.
Amen, brother. Amen.